is there anything that you don't want to be brought up at all?
Nah, man, I'm an open book right now.
For sure, for sure. Is it possible you
Mm-hmm.
could fix the camera a little bit?
That's good.
Yeah, that's cool right there.
Okay,
Cool, man.
sure.
Yeah, well, I do want to say thank you for giving me your time. I'm very thankful for this whole quarantine even going on right now, so we're able to get this done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, I feel you. It's all good. Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate that.
For sure, man.
And yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. I don't have an introduction for this podcast. It's something I'm very indecisive about, but I do go by Tony Awdball. This is an odd conversation here with a very special guest.
Jabali, what's up? How y'all doing?
What's up, man? And I actually came across your music. I think someone posted it on my Instagram. It was like on, I don't know who it was. I can't remember, but I remember seeing it, and I don't know if it was for quarantine or not, but it was definitely off a music video. And
Yeah, it was probably Wheels, the music video for Wheels. That has been getting a lot of attention lately. That specific music video.
okay, yeah, and I got into it just because it was definitely something original. It was more authentic. It did give me like 2012 vibes, with like the whole like, the whole. You ever, I don't know if you remember back in the day where, shit, as if we're talking about like 20 years from now, but back in the day with Tyler the Creator to like ASAP Mob, and like we hear the sounds and it was like something so different, but like we don't know what it was that we liked about it, but we just did. And that's exactly how I felt when I was listening to your music video. I guess it was for Wills. So, I like it personally. To me, I do like King a lot. King is definitely one of my favorite tracks. So.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that one is most definitely doing the biggest numbers right now. That one has most definitely gone up in popularity. Yeah, a lot of people really love that one just for the grimy-ness of the beat. I've always been really into really dark beats, really like hard-hitting, evil sounding. Like evil is the word for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that one is the one beat, one song where I've really honed in on that type of vibe, that dark, grimy vibe. And that one just picked up, man. It's at like 177,000 streams right now. It gets like a few thousand streams a day compared to all my other tracks when they get like a few hundred, maybe 1,000 for the highest a day.
For sure. Cool. Yeah, cool. Sorry about that. Let me just get this set up again.
Oh, you're good. You're good, man.
All right. Finally, back in the plate. Cool.
All right.
But that was definitely one of my standout songs. Mostly because of what it did have that whole, dark sound to it. But the difference was though is that you were actually talking about some shit. You weren't just like, just saying shit just to fill up space. And I think that's like one thing I appreciate with your music, especially with like a newer sound compared to like boom bap rap to just mumble rap and everything that comes along with it.
Yeah, my bad, man. My nephew's in the room right now. He's playing some 2K.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, it's quarantine, so I that's why sometimes I have the dog start barking and shit. So I feel you.
Yeah, my bad about that. But yeah, what's up though? Yeah, man, I try to mix in, like, I try not to just talk about nothing because I know that a lot of people, like, with new upcoming artists, they don't want to give them any attention because they're immediately trying to hop on, like, whatever the next rapper is doing, like, talking about money, cars, drugs, and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm trying to latch on to a way that people can, like, one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to make boring music, you know what I'm saying? And one thing that I've realized with a lot of artists that are trying to talk about real stuff all the time is that, like, nobody wants to listen to you talk about politics and the struggle while they're cruising, you know what I'm saying? But nobody just wants to hear you talk about nonsense all the time either. So when it comes to my tracks, I try to usually combine a good balance between, like, all right, these lyrics are just going to be me showing off and, just telling everybody that I'm the shit and everything's going to be great. And let me, like, throw in a bar in there and talk about, like, how it was growing up or, like, the struggle with my family or how I feel, like, with my insecurities and stuff like that. So I try to have, like, a nice, good balance in there. So Thank you for catching that.
No, yeah, no worries. Yeah, that's, like, one thing with me. People, a lot of my friends think that, like, I hate mainstream music just because, I like the new up-and-coming sounds. But it's also, like, sometimes when people hit, like, the radio mainstream, they kind of just half-ass their shit after a while, and it kind of tells from like a day one fan and blah blah blah. So that's why I always just try to say, I mean, like, once they hit radio, hey, that's good, they deserve it. but are they still keeping up with what they're pushing in the first place? You know. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how that's why I kind of pay attention to everything from just the fun of it to the message behind it, and even just trying to capture what's going on. But yeah, so I'm not gonna lie to you whatsoever. I didn't do enough research before this interview. I got caught up with some stuff, but I guess I'll ask some of the basic questions that like everybody else will probably ask you anyway. But it'll give a chance for people to get to know you a little more. So we can start off with like where you're from and how was the upbringing like up until now.
I mean, well, I've been in the Los Angeles area pretty much my entire life. I grew up in the Valley. Are you familiar with Are you do live in LA or where are you from? That's my question to you.
Yeah. Well, what's it called? I just moved out of Whittier, La Mirada area, but I grew up in Fontana, which is the Inland Empire, and then now I'm out in Marietta. So, SoCal.
Sure. Well, I'm from the Valley, man. Like. Sorry about that, bro.
your dad's like, you ain't from the Valley.
Like, I was born in Burbank, and then I lived in Sylmar for a little bit. So these are all cities in the Valley, except for the Valley I'm about to name right now. Grew up in Sylmar, moved from Sylmar to a city called Lakeview Terrace. Was there for a little bit. I moved around a little bit as a kid. I wasn't necessarily like poor, not because like it was just a struggle, but it's just I don't know. My parents were they got bored rather quickly, so it's like okay, we need to move to a different city. Made a lot of different friends, but the one city that I grew up in the most was Granada Hills. Granada Hills is another city in San Fernando Valley. I went to John F. Kennedy High School, and that was the place where I first started like getting into music. I joined a marching band, I joined drumline, and I did like 6 or 7 years of that. And that bled into rapping because I met a guy that raps while doing the marching band, and he was like, "Hey man, you should do this. I think you'll be good at it." And I tried it. And I was like, no, this is fun. Next thing I know, I'm recording songs. And that's basically how I got into the whole music thing. So I was doing that for a while. I moved to the inner city, Los Angeles area around like September 2018. And that's just because my mom got bored again. It's like, all right, let's move out of the Valley. So moved to the inner city. And I've been out here ever since. I'm currently out here right now. Yeah, and it's been cool. I love this. I love the city way more than the Valley. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more stuff going on. The culture is way different. I love the tall buildings in the Valley. It's all very like one level. So moving out to LA, seeing downtown, Hollywood, stuff like that, it's been a huge impact on like the culture and the direction in which my music has been taking. Like since I moved out here, my music has sounded way different in a more better way.
Yeah, man. And one thing I also like about your sound is that you're very confident on the microphone. Like you're not. You could tell when it comes to up and coming artists where someone will be rapping but they sound like they're reading a book or something or reading a script, where to you it just you really put your feel into it, and you definitely rock the beat instead of having the beat hold you up, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, that took a lot of practice, bro. Like a lot of practice. There's a person I met. I actually did go to college for like I don't know, maybe like a semester and a half. And during that time, I met a guy. His name's Malik. I'm not gonna say his last name because I don't know how you feel about that. But yeah, his name is Malik, and he basically taught me how to rap. Like he makes beats. He taught me how to make beats. He helped me record my first project. And yeah, like he's not a rapper himself. In fact, that me and him fell out. I haven't talked to him in a while, so I don't really know what he's up to. I haven't really seen him release any music, but I really owe a lot of my skill and a lot of like my upbringing to him because he taught me how to rap. He taught me how to make beats. He taught me you should sound like this. You should do this with your voice at this point. And yeah, he's the one that gave me that initial confidence as a rapper. That's where that comes from. Yeah, it takes a lot of practice. You have to learn that. It takes a long time, dude.
Okay, for sure. And then quick question: is this like your first interview as well, or no?
This is like my second interview.
Okay.
Like, not like on video interviews, just like somebody. I have a lot of friends that like believe in me as a rapper, so they'll do these interviews.
Yeah.
But this is like my first kind of like legit interview with a person that I don't know, haven't met yet.
Cool, man. I feel honored. I've been getting that a lot lately with like a lot of different like type of people, and yeah, man. So like I said, it's that's why I kind of want to like get a feel for it before finding like saying like repetitive questions. That's why I try to avoid basics ones as much as I can. But so that kind of leads me into the next one where I'll say, where your inspiration's coming from, whether it's just like music you just listen to or stuff that really gets you to like create, like help you like mold your craft.
Okay, so my initial inspiration, my largest inspiration is Tyler Creator. Obviously, you probably heard that in the Will's video. As far as artistry goes, his confidence in himself as an artist, the directions that he takes when it comes to like experimental beats or experimental flows or experimental topics, all of that comes from him. I love Tyler Creator. I've watched every interview. I've listened to every album, every unreleased track. A lot of the style, like the way I dress now, comes extremely from Tyler Creator. He's like my biggest inspiration. But as far as rapping goes, my inspirations recently has most definitely been Drake, Jack Harlow, Mac Miller. In terms of my actual rapping.
Yeah, like
in terms
the
of
craft.
just as myself as an artist, like how I present myself to the world, Tyler.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie. I watched every Tyler interview probably as well, and I remember back in 2012 was when I found out about him, and I remember just like listening, like hearing him, and I'm like, dude, this guy is hilarious, but he's like very sarcastic, and people really think he's serious about half the stuff he says, and
Right.
it really takes a person to really understand it to know like he isn't serious about half the stuff. But you know what though, like he got a lot done, and I admire Tyler for that as well. Yeah, I'm not as a big fan of his music deep like that, but that Igor album was really incredible, for sure. I
Yes.
remember, now this is gonna sound pretty bad, but I remember eating mushrooms one time, well twice on two different occasions, and man, I played that album and I'll be crying over someone that doesn't exist, and it's like wow, I'll be laughing, smiling, and then I'll start bawling my eyes out, and then start laughing about that. Yeah,
Right.
mushrooms, the Tyler Creator, it kind of helps. I do have to say that so with that, but I'm not here to condone this type of stuff. Next question.
For sure, man. For sure.
For sure. So one thing I do on the show is I kind of give you like a scenario, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna answer to the best of your ability, self-explanatory, and let's just say, but this whole quarantine going on, it just gets extended all the way up to the rest of the year, and then all of a sudden the Wi-Fi fucks up. So for some reason, it only gives you 3 artists or bands to listen to, but that includes the whole discography. So which also includes songs that they're featured on, songs they produce, blah blah blah. So who are you running with for only 3 positions
For the rest of the year.
for the rest of the year?
Dang, man, that's a tough question, man, because, man, my music taste changes, like, every couple weeks or so. Like, I listen to music religiously. Like, I can't go a day without listening to it. Like, I will literally cut out a section of my day to just put in my earphones and start chilling and listen to some music. Like, that's, like, in my schedule, like, listen to some music. So, if I had to listen to, based off what I've been listening to recently, 3 artists for the rest of the year, it'll probably be, it'll be Drake for sure, because he just has such a huge discography, and there's just so much of his music that I like, and there's so many of his songs you can listen to that are completely different from each other, and like he has the most variety, so it will last. I probably won't get tired of him as fast. I would have to add Jack Harlow just because I have yet to dive into the rest of his discography, so that'll give me a good chance to like really get into him, and find out like his upbringing and like how his talent, where he was from the first album all the way to his last album. So yeah, Drake, Jack Harlow, and honestly, just out of pure love, probably Mac Miller, because I haven't been listening to Mac Miller lately, and I just feel like I should. So that'll give me a reason to listen to more Mac Miller.
Yeah, man.
So yeah.
So where were you at when Mac passed away?
I was in the studio actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was actually with my man Malik that I talked about earlier, and we're recording a song. And usually in between takes, I go on my phone, go on Twitter, see what's going on. And I saw the first tweet, "Rest in peace, Mac," and I was like, no way. And I kept scrolling, I kept seeing it, and I looked at him, I was like, damn man, dude, Mac died. And he was like, what? And stopped recording the songs, like just sat in silence for a little bit. I actually stopped the entire session for that day. Decided to just go get food and just call it a day. And it hit hard, man. It sucked.
Yeah, dude. I remember, like, it's funny because not many people know this, though, but the very first album I ever bought, like, really, well, digitally bought, was watching movies with the sound off, and
Yes.
that's where he had like the most diverse sound throughout the whole entire project. He kind of like give you his alternate universe in his head, and he even had like incredible features on that song on that album. Everywhere
Mm-hmm.
from Absol to Schoolboy, and like even Tyler as well. Like it's just all over the place, and he had some of the most beautiful songs there too, such as like Objects in the Mirror and Avion, fucking
Mm-hmm.
Red Dot Music. That one was a really good song right there. I don't know.
Yes, bro.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm a big fanboy when it comes to that album. I love that album big time for sure. What's your favorite Mac album?
Favorite Mac album probably would have to be Watching Moves with the Sound Off.
Oh shit.
Like for
Okay.
sure.
Damn.
Yeah. Because like I'm always listening to Mac Miller, but like when that album came out, that's what caused my stand. Like, okay, I love Mac Miller now.
Yeah.
I remember listening the first track. This was before I listened to albums from first track to last track. I used to just shuffle them. I was a kid. I wasn't that deep into music yet. But I still love music, but didn't have enough passion for it as other people do. So I would just find the first track that I like out of an album, and the first track I listened to was SDS.
Okay.
Watch Moves with Sound Off, and I just loved it. I just kept clicking random tracks, and I just liked all of them. Like there's never a track where it's just like, okay, I'm gonna skip this one. I don't like this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was like the first album where I was able to listen all the way through and not have any complaints.
Dang. Okay, for sure. And yeah, man, like I could go on for days with this one, but I just keep on remembering this is your interview right here, so we gotta stay on task here. That's my bad.
Yes, sir. It's all good, bro. I ain't tripping, man. I'm learning how to do interviews too, so it's all good.
Yeah. It's fine. Eventually you'll get used to it because with the sound of your music, you'll be getting a lot of attention. And so, your stage name, is that also your real name as well?
That's my first name, Jabali.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, so that's one thing too. Usually I'll like also put up like a little promo picture, I guess, of it, whatever, and put an odd conversation with such and such. And I didn't know whether to put your last name in it too or whatnot. So, luckily we got to clear that up right here on air. Anyways, sorry about that.
It's all good.
Yeah. So another thing too I noticed about your music is that a lot of your releases are a lot of singles. Is there a reason why there hasn't been a project set yet, or is that just like a thing you're just trying to keep up with?
It's kind of just like a marketing project because one thing I've realized with a lot of artists, like artists that are like on my level, like upcoming artists, people that put out a lot of projects, they're kind of like spending a lot of time and putting in a lot of like money on studio sessions and waiting forever to put out this large project where people are only going to listen to like maybe 2 of the tracks and then move on. Because one thing I've realized is like, yeah, I'm coming up and I believe that my music is good, but I also got to realize that I'm not famous yet. People are not going to put that belief in me yet to like believe that they're going to like every song on my 12-track album that I just put out, So when you put out just singles and just promote each single, give them each their time to get their numbers up and gain their popularity, and then boom, drop the next single. To me, that is a way more efficient way of marketing, because people will most definitely listen to one song. Okay, one song. When you're up and coming, like they'll give you that chance again and again. But if you put out like a 10-track album, they'll listen to the first, maybe the second. But if the third doesn't like wow them, they're gonna toss it to the side. Yeah. And I just don't believe that it's worth the time to put in all that time, all that money, all that thought and creation into making 10 tracks and putting out as a body of work just for people to listen to maybe 1 or 2 tracks and move along.
For sure, man. And how long have you been making music for?
I've been making music for about maybe 2.5 years now, 2.5 or 3 years now.
Okay. Have you had any performances between all that?
I have had 2 performances. One at I don't know, someplace in Anaheim. Only my friends were there. There was like 8 people in the crowd. But it was all good though. We had fun. We went crazy. And I had another performance at a house party that my friend threw. And there were a lot more people there. That was fun. Had the crowd screaming the lyrics. That one was really fun. But I have not done any like real performances yet. No.
Yeah, I did notice too on your Spotify. You making some numbers, and that's actually pretty crazy. From the conversation between you and I, it seems that like you're still like, and it's true. You're still making a name for yourself right now, but the numbers you have, like you don't seem to be having a problem with like gaining exposure right now. But but in due time though, you'll get the recognition. So like, has there been any kind of memorable moments when you're going into like these concerts, or even like stuff happening like while you're performing at all, or no?
No, nothing real crazy yet. I guess one of my most iconic moments, if we're gonna say it like that, was performing Wheels, and like the whole crowd would scream like the lyrics, like "Move that shit," and that was pretty much it. Like on the chorus, that felt pretty good to hear them scream that.
True, cool. All right, so another segment I started doing as of recently. You're the third person that I'm gonna ask this question to. Well, it's not really a question, but kind of like asking you to participate. Really, is that I'm trying to create these playlists based off like certain settings or moods that you have, and it could be anywhere from a road trip or like a first date, or something to listen to when you're angry or something. You know what I'm saying? What is this song? So the mood that I picked right now was a song that you work out to. So what's like a song that you would like throw in a playlist, like hands down, that you would want to like work out to?
Oh man, King for sure. King, Wheels. I don't know if you see this track. It's a little bit older, but my track called Nobody. Like a lot of my songs, I make upbeat because that's just more fun to listen to. That's the track that's going to gain the most traction at my level right now. So a lot of my songs are upbeat, and honestly, a lot of my songs could go in that playlist to work out to.
Mm-hmm, for sure. And how about
but
like
top one for sure, King.
How about other artists as well?
Other artists? Oh, are we talking about like?
Oh yeah, no,
like
because
playlists?
yeah, like the thing is that like either way, I'm throwing like King easy on there and Quarantine. I'm putting those two easy on that kind of playlist. It's just that this is like a segment where, like, especially it's like one of those things where, people may not expect you to listen to a certain artist, but they like your music as it is. So you can have someone like Boss, and then he could throw a song. Yeah, he's dope. And then he could throw like a mention in there like, oh, this song by the Hicks. It's like, who the hell are the Hicks? It's like electronic, like alternative band. So it's like, oh, okay, now I'm put onto the Hicks. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's like one of those things where like people would be like, oh, dude, I like this guy's sound. I know he's a fan of Tyler, fan of Mac, fan of Drake, but who would you throw into that playlist to if you want to like get a good workout in or go like get energy from?
Man, Jack Harlow for sure, Drake for sure. Not gonna lie, Flo Milli. Do you know who Flo Milli is? I wouldn't say she's up and coming. I would say she's on now. She's like famous now, but she's like this female rapper, young female rapper, and man, she released this one track called Beef Flow Mix, and basically what it is, it's a remix of a track that Playboy Cardi and Ethro made. It's called Beef, and the beat is like really, really playful. It's a bunch of playful chords, and she has like a really high pitched voice, but she goes in though. So I'll probably add her on that track too, and I play this too. And shoot, not gonna lie, man, like my music has definitely been in the box lately. I probably would want to work out to some R&B, to be honest with you. Like I find it easy to put high energy to low energy music.
Yeah, that
so
makes
probably
sense.
like LMA, Summer Walker, her, HER for sure, and like Doja Cat.
Doja Cat's bad. Yeah, she's bad. She's a baddie for sure. Yeah, man, she can get it. Yeah.
For sure.
God damn. Yeah, I didn't think about that, man, because I did listen to like some R&B before, like when I did work out. Now I'm a fat piece of shit, but yeah, man, you know what? That's so true, man. Yeah, I never thought about that. Oh shit. So, I know I'm everywhere with these questions and stuff, but I'm just like, it's kind of how my brain operates, and so that's why I'm gonna lead into another off-topic question where, where do you see yourself in 2025?
2025, man. I'm expecting to be on in 2025, man. Like at the rate that I'm going right now, like I just got to 3,000 followers, right? I already have 3,855. I got that in maybe 3 days. And it's recently slowed down, but dude, if I keep releasing these songs in the order that I'm doing, if if I keep doing this marketing or how I'm doing, I'm pretty sure in 2025, dude, I'm already gonna be like up there, like already up there.
For sure.
Like especially if I keep moving the way that I'm moving right now, because I have not seen any pauses in like a full year in like my growth. Like the numbers have always gone up, the followers have always gone up, the number of likes, the number of comments, the number of shares, the number of interactions with my stories. All of these numbers have continuously gone up in the past like 6 or 7 months. So if we just take that same progress and multiply that by 5 years, it's only a matter of time, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, do you see yourself being signed to a label as well or no?
I don't know, man. That's the whole thing. Like I know that the whole agenda that they're pushing now, especially like bigger artists are saying, be independent, you know, do it on your own. Me, I don't know. Like it's just whatever is best, man. Whatever is best for me, whatever the deal is looking like. I'm not at that point to where I have much knowledge on different types of deals, different type of contracts. I mean, I guess I could learn right there at any time I want, but right now I'm just really focusing on the quality of the music and the quality of my marketing and the quality of my brand first. I haven't really dug into record labels or anything like that because I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But I guess to answer to your question, if I see myself signing, that's just up in the air right now. Like if some reason a song blows up and next thing I know I'm doing shows and I'm not attached to a label, but I'm still getting enough support from my fans that I'm still getting paid as if I was at a label, I'll be cool with that. But let's say a label comes up to me and says, all right, look, this is your advance, this is your contract, I have a lawyer look over the contract, he tells me the details and I'm okay with the details, and then I'll probably sign to that label. It just depends on the situation, where I'm at, and what the circumstances are.
Yeah, you know, and that's good, man. You know, there's one thing too about like everyone always like preaching like stay independent and stuff. A lot of those people are signed to labels, and it's not even because like they're saying it because they're trapped. They're saying it because they want their fans to believe that they're still independent, so they could get the cult like following still. But like you have dudes like Ski Mask and like. You know, all those, like, you know, up-and-coming SoundCloud dudes, when that was just becoming a wave, a lot of them were signed already. And so that's why when it came to them saying, like, oh, they're independent and this and that, I'm like, not exactly. You know, but then again, I'm a music nerd, so that's why I kind of, like, you know, pay attention to these things. But, yeah, man, that's good. You have a good head on your shoulders with that. Definitely, you know, take music business in college. You know, that's what I did. I took one semester. I was a fucking star in that class. The only time I was ever a star in class. And yeah, man, it just seemed like we're speaking the same language. And then from what you know, the conversation we're having, you know, you'll excel in that class as well. You'll learn a lot and network a lot too, along with that.
For sure, man. For sure, I consider that.
Yeah. You know, is there any other artists that out there, whether they're like on like the come up or just in general, that you would love to work with?
Man, that are on the come up right now that I would love to work with, man. That's a good question. I'm just gonna say Jack Harlow again, man. Like Jack. Okay. Here's a good one. Wen. Do you know who Wen is? WYNNE. She's a white female rapper from Portland, Oregon. I am in love with her sound. She just released a project. I loved every minute of it. I love the way she raps. I love her flow. I love her personality. She's cool. And yeah, I would love to work with her. She's not exactly like blown up yet, but she has a track out there with JID. And she's been getting production from like Soundwave, like, and a lot of these not up and coming, like these big producers. And she's most definitely on her way. I would most definitely say that the quarantine most definitely slowed her trajectory down, but she's still getting all these interviews. She's still getting these big features. I would love to work with her sometime soon. You gotta listen to her stuff, man. She is great.
Absolutely. You know, I'm all for it.
That is my top answer.
For sure. Well, down. Has there been any encounters, whether it was like just randomly in the street or just at a concert in general, you meet anyone that like you were like a fan of at all? Doesn't have to be music, but just like anybody in general.
Well, let's see here. I mean, yeah. I remember I was on Fairfax one day. That's a street in LA where it's like a shopping center, and I actually saw JID. And I was a lot younger at this time. I actually had just started rapping. So I went up to him. I made the biggest mistake of my life, and I asked him if he could listen to my beat. And he was like, we were like in the middle of like a clothing store, and he was just looking at me like, dog, I'm not gonna listen to this beat right now. But he did give me his email. I sent him some beats, but like I said, I listened to those beats that I sent him like not too long ago, and they were really bad. So I'm pretty sure he looked at them and like just threw them away. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was one moment. Another moment I met Tyler multiple times. Also on Fairfax, because he has a store on Fairfax. Yeah. And I will always be on Fairfax. So I've seen him pull up a couple of times to the store. I remember I had a gig because I play drums, right? So I got to a professional. So I've been on a few TV shows. So I was on the Dancing with the Stars season finale, and Tinashe was one of the contestants on Dancing with the Stars that season. So
she can get it too.
During like one of the little breaks, like Tinashe was like just like chilling, like drink some coffee or whatever, and I just walked up to her, started talking to her. So that was cool. I had a little conversation with Tinashe, but that was it. So Tinashe, Tyler, and Jared D, those are like the only celebrities I've like met and like talked to.
Damn, man, that's dope, man. So, are there any like upcoming releases that you want to talk about before we get out of here? Just because, like I do want to give like the floor to those that like have like a plan set in mind, especially with this whole quarantine going on, and like what maybe are we gonna get like an IG live performance in a sense, or we're just gonna get like a couple more singles, like what can we all look forward to?
Alright, so this is what's coming up. So I have a single coming out this Friday. It's entitled Okay, Alright. It's a different direction in terms of the music that I've been making recently. It's more of a soft bop, a soft banger is what I'll call it. Like, it's very smooth. It's something that you'll be in the club with like a bottle of Henny in your hand. It's like swinging like this, not exactly going crazy, but you're not bored either. You're still hyped up. It's one of those types of jams, and that's the single from an EP that I have being made right now. It's being mixed and mastered right now. 4 tracks out of the EP are mixed and ready to go. I'm just waiting for the last one. It's a 5-track EP. Mm-hmm. It's called Cold Summer, and basically Cold Summer is just basically the representation of where we're at right now. Like, we're supposed to be in summer vacation, everybody's supposed to be at the beach, having fun, but we're trapped inside. It feels very cold right now, like the mood of where we're at in the world right now. So that's why I'm calling it Cold Summer. And it's basically, it's all lighthearted, it's all bangers, it's all fast-paced songs. They're supposed to make you feel good, it's supposed to make you get up, do something. And yeah, like, okay, so I know they're talking about restrictions of quarantine being released in May, like small businesses being opened back up, stuff like that. So if that happens, either way I'm going to release it, but if that happens and restrictions get eased up, I'm going to connect with a videographer, create a little video trailer for it, put that out, put the release date out, release the EP. Now, the EP is going to set us up for this album. I do have an album. It's done. It's all mixed, all mastered. It's ready to go. I would say it's like my debut album. It has like 9 tracks on it. I'm calling it Black Roses. And I'll explain why it's called Black Roses later down the line. But yeah, man, like basically my whole thing is like with the traction I've been getting now, it's like, okay, it's time to release some type of project. So it's going to be this single that I'm releasing this Friday to the 5-track EP. Let that sizzle for a little bit, market that, make sure that grows. And then maybe when things ease up a little bit more, like let's say around June or maybe July, I'm going to drop an album.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That's all I have. On top of that, dude, I have so many songs like just off to the side to keep us like ready to go. Everybody that's been listening to me, I have a whole bunch of songs ready. And I just got a whole bunch of new beats from these really good producers, so I'm going to make a whole bunch of tracks to that. There's a lot of songs on the way. So the sound is going to keep elevating. But as far as what I have scheduled to release soon, single, EP. And hopefully the EP do its job, see what the numbers are looking like, and hopefully around like actual midsummer, drop an album and see what that goes.
For sure, man. Damn. So like, I love how like your confidence level with everything going on. Do you ever like battle with like any like overthinking or insecurity when it comes to releasing music or even making it yourself?
Oh, most definitely, man. All the time, dude. Like sometimes I'll wake up and like I'll look at a fellow artist that I know and I see that they have more followers than me, or their picture got more likes than I did. Typical like social media concerned BS, and that'll immediately like shoot all my confidence down. Like I released a little like I just released a trailer, right? For the single that I'm releasing this Friday. And for me, my definition of a good Instagram post, that has to get at least 210 likes, right? that post got 191 likes. So that's just like killing me. Even though the post before that got like 500 likes, I don't care because this one didn't get to 200. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I battle it all the time, dude. I'm constantly feeling like I'm not doing good enough. I'm not releasing enough. But I eventually snap myself out of it. I know I'm doing good. But to answer your question, yes, I battle that all the time, dude. Like even with this upcoming release, I'm like, is it gonna do good? Are people waiting for it? You know, I always have those thoughts.
Okay, so how do you battle all that?
Honestly, man, like one thing that helps me is getting my mind off of it because like I know my music's good. There are moods where I listen to my music and I'm just like, this shit's great. Like this is gonna do amazing. And when I'm not in those moods, I just direct my attention somewhere else. Like I stop trying to write, I stop listening to beats. I may like just play some video games or go for a walk. Or one thing that really helps is going for a drive. I love driving. And I love BMWs, and I actually own a BMW now. So when I'm feeling bad and I'm not feeling myself, I just hop in my car and go for a drive around the city. That helps out a lot.
For sure. Damn, man. So I mean, I know we spoke on quarantine and stuff, and you know I do want to kind of mention that. Is that the music video releasing Friday for quarantine?
No. The one I'm releasing this Friday is a whole new song, whole new track, whole new music video.
Oh, okay, for sure. Yeah. Well, you know, let's jump back on quarantine real quick. Like I said, I'm everywhere with this whole thing. But, you know, like that's definitely big, high energy right there. Definitely wanted me to jump around the house a lot more. But how have you been, you know, fighting this whole, well, not fighting, but how have you been surviving the whole quarantine going on right now?
Oh, man, I just been piling up different things I'm going to do once I'm out of quarantine. It's been really hard to stay inside, but it's cool to have the company of my family. And I've just been doing a lot of research, been writing a lot of songs. I've been just trying to find little things to look forward to, you know? So, like, one thing I'm a big fan of is, like, clothes, and, like, a really big fan of Naruto. So, this brand was releasing this really cool Naruto hoodie. So, I put that on my calendar, like, all right, that's going to get released on this day. So, I have something to look forward to. If I have something to look forward to, I can get through everything before that. But it eats away at me most when I feel stagnant. Like when I have something in mind that like, if I want to go to the studio, if I want to record this music video, if I want to just go out and just do this and I can't do that, that's when it hits me the most. But when I when I make myself feel productive is when it feels great. So that's how I've been battling it. I just been trying to find little things to keep myself productive and to look forward to.
For sure. What's your favorite Naruto character?
Sasuke, actually.
Sasuke? Not typical.
Yeah, but the hoodie that I got, hold on, it's in the closet.
Oh,
I'll get it, 1 sec.
Alright, for sure. We'll be right back after these few messages. Welcome to the show. My name is Anthony Cowell, also known as Tony Awdball, here with the Odd Conversation with a very special guest, Jabali. Welcome back. Here we are.
Alright, man. So, my favorite character is Sasuke, but I got this.
Okay.
Just like a little tie-dye hoodie with Naruto on it. Yeah, I saw that and immediately had to get it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, I
I
mean,
feel like a nerd. My bad.
nah, it's all good, man. You know, as for myself, I'm like a Shikamaru. You know what I mean? I'm a lazy genius. That's why I like to think of it. Yeah, man, that dude's low key like one of the best characters. Very underrated.
Yes.
Sure.
I believe you.
So, this is where I think my final question right here is basically just, you know, what word of advice would you have for someone pursuing this type of career, or just like a life tip in general? You know what I mean? What would you tell the world and everyone watching?
A word of advice I would have is to just be consistent. You know, make sure that you're doing the right things. You know, because like there's a certain way to do everything right. Everybody finds their own way. They find out what works. And I'd say like create a system and then be consistent with that system. Like if you do things a certain way, find out which way works, and then just repeat that. Because if it's not broke, you know, don't fix it. Like my here's an example. So here's my system of releasing music. So every track that I put out, it has to be a music video to it. One thing that I've learned about my audience is that people are not going to pay attention to your single if you just post the cover art and say out soon, or if you post a cover art and it's just a song playing in the background of the cover art, that's not going to catch the attention. You have to catch the attention of your audience. So I made it a goal to always have a music video out for each song or for each release. Like if it's 3 tracks being released at once, have at least one music video for that. But I actually overachieved that with King and Hollywood. King was released with a song named Hollywood, and I made music videos for both of those songs. So I make the video, I make the song, and then I post like maybe the first 30 seconds of the video. That's the trailer to the song, and then that's me saying out soon. When the song is released, I release the full song, the full video with the song, and say out now. That system has helped tremendously. I make sure that I follow that system each time, and it's been working. So my biggest advice for anybody that's been trying to do this, trying to get their numbers up, find the system, find what works, find what makes people want to look at you, and then just repeat that, and don't do anything different.
Dang, man. That's my favorite thing about these questions. I kind of say something about everyone's advice anyway, but it's just that it's always something different every time I ask the question. It's never like you'll get the occasional like don't quit, just keep going, and then like just leave it at that. But but you do have people really trying to help others. Especially those that are just listening in general. So, man, I really appreciate you even saying like sharing that with everybody, let alone on the podcast. I like it. So I salute you for that for sure.
Thank you, Doc. Appreciate it.
Sure, man. Well. Yeah, any last words or last minute shout outs you want to send out to anybody?
Shouts out to my man Mars Productions. Mars Productions is my engineer. He is the reason why my music sounds so good, and he gives me a lot of advice on my music today. He's the one that helps me create the songs, helps to structure the songs. So shouts out to him. Shouts out to all my artist friends that are doing it with me. My man Elegy, my man Honda, homegirl Scylla. My man Raska. Shouts out to my videographer, Roger. He is the reason why all my videos have been good. And shouts out to my other videographer, Devin. When I don't have Roger, I have Devin. He provides a new vibe, his own little chill cinematography when it comes to making music videos. Like Devin and Roger are like my main guys for videography. And shouts out to the team, man. That's all good.
Cool, man. Cool. Well, just like an intro, I don't have an outro either, but I go by Tony Awdball. This is an odd conversation here with a very special guest,
Jabali.
Cool, man. And we'll get a part 2 with the in person when this whole quarantine lifts up. Hopefully, it's sometime soon. For sure, man.
I'm looking forward to that.
Definitely, man. Keep it up. Peace and love.
Peace.